Hello, we should have on the phone, right here, right now, we should have the lovely Jody Watley. Hello?
Hello.
Hello. You can hear me then. Thank goodness for that. I thought we had problems there. And honestly, I was beginning to sweat. How are you today? Hello?
It's 8:08. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I've had porridge, I've had berries, and I'm ready to go. ready
to go. I'll tell you something. I'm going to be honest with you, Jody. I am so nervous. I've been sweating all morning because you know something. I was just saying to the guys, all the listeners here, that when I was growing up, I listened to you guys, and I just definitely knew that. I just definitely knew there and then that was the music for me. So having this opportunity to actually talk to one of my idols, one of my icons, is absolutely fantastic. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being with me through all of these many moons. In that case.
Honestly, right from the start of your career, which, to be fair, it reaches back so far, doesn't it? I mean, you guys started off as dancers, really, didn't it? I mean, that's how it all began for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, actually, it began for me in the bedroom of my house when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
Pretending that I was a big, famous singer and, just using my imagination. So, to be fair, it started in my bedroom, singing into a hairbrush, actually.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, starting as an original member of Shalimar was the beginning of my professional singing career.
I mean, you guys were so phenomenally successful in the UK. I think I even read somewhere that you were actually more successful in the UK than you were in the USA. Is that right?
That is true. That's actually true.
So,
and it just shows the reach of music. No matter where you're from, it's really special. And throughout my solo career, which began in '87, I've also had success over in the UK as well. So it's always been a great place that appreciates R&B, pop, soul music, and I appreciate that very much.
I mean, the great thing is, still remains one of the most nominated artists on MTV, don't you? I mean, that is in itself is a feat, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I'm hanging tough with artists like Cardi B now. So that is staying power. The Real Love video, which was from my second album, it still ranks very high. And the only reason why I didn't actually win is because Real Love was up against Michael Jackson. And, when I first came out with my first 3 albums as a solo artist, I was always up against Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston. And so that's good. And U2 as well. So not you as in you, but, obviously the band U2. And so there was some pretty tough competition. And the video still holds up. The girls can still take notes.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just looking at just going through your resume, if you will, and it just goes on. It's endless. I mean, Lifetime Achievement Award on Billboard's magazine, nominations for MTV's VMA, as well as NAACP Image Award, being nominated as America's Most Beautiful Person by People magazine. And I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that because I had a real crush on you. But we won't get into that.
Thank you. I think my mom paid them off for that.
As well as that, this is iconic in itself. I think this is beautiful. The first black female to appear on a Japanese fashion magazine cover. Wow.
Yeah, and that's really something. And again, it goes to what I was saying in that, the reach of music, no matter where you're from, people are, it can be very impacted by it. And Japan is still one of the, one of my biggest fan bases. in fact, and I love going there. So that meant a lot. You know, at the time when I was on the cover, you know, they had gigantic billboards all over throughout the country. I had a television commercial, and so it really was quite something.
You've had quite a full life, really.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Just getting warmed up. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. And you know something? We still hearing quite a lot about you because, of course, you had a release not so long ago. In fact, one of the guys from England remixed that up. Of course, Morgan from Soul Persona remixed one of your tunes, didn't he?
Are you talking about the Mood or?
Oh, the Sanctuary.
My single.
Yeah, the Sanctuary, which is one of your singles that was released. Was it last year? I think it was.
Maybe you're thinking of Nightlife. Nightlife, which was a big hit in the UK from 2013, was remixed by Soul Persona. Morgan Howell, who's from the UK. I think maybe that's what you're thinking of. And then my makeover of I Want Your Love was mixed by Soulcast, and they're from the UK as well. I've also collaborated with For Hero from the UK. I'm always, you know, not too far away, though I haven't been over there personally in a while, which I hope with the new single that will happen. But you know, I'm always connected to you guys there.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you are. And let's move on to the new single. This is just incredible. When I first heard this, it blew me away. The Mood, of course. How did that collaboration come through? Because that was remixed by SRL. Is that right?
SRL is my new trio outside of my solo projects and career and Grammy winner and all that. Nate Allen Smith and Rosero McCoy, we got together 3 years ago and formed this group. This fantastic trio. I call it the next great music trio.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's been fun, and it is fun, and we've been working on our debut album, and The Mood. The concept and the original song came up by Nate Allen Smith in the group, and Rosero and I contributed a bit to it, and one of Nate's friends, Ben Shelby. And then what gave it the kick was Alex Cho, who, you know, the great thing about social media, I met him online, actually. He's from Italy.
Yeah.
And he did a remix on it, and at the top of the year, it just really took off.
Yeah, it went boom, didn't it? It just went boom.
To have it take off in the UK is incredibly, it's very special. And, you know, it's just very exciting for things to come for the debut album, which comes out this summer.
I was going to say, when can we expect some new material from you? Because obviously you're still busy, you're still very active, and this is just blown up, like I say, in the UK. I think you got number 2 in the UK Soul Chart, and still doing very well in the UK Soul Chart. So when can we expect the new album? When can we expect that to drop?
Our target is this summer. I'm hoping for June. And all of these releases for the past since '95, I've been an independent artist and label, and it's through my Avatone, and I work great. Also, another UK connection, Steve Ripley, at Soul Food Music. You know, he sets me on the right path with these releases and tells me what is great for, you know, for the market. And so look forward to releasing it this summer in June, and coming over, and then over here stateside I have a jazz single which is doing really well too. So I'm a busy girl, as you could say.
Well, we're going to take a snippet of the new single. When we come back, we'll talk some more. Just bear with me.
All right.
Next time that we don't do all the things I want to do to you, and that's right. Turn into that grind. 'Cause I'm in the mood tonight, and I feel so good inside. Got my body in a groove that feels right. All I need is you. All I
We are currently live at Starpoint Radio, London. We're talking to the very, very lovely Jody Watley. Hello.
Good morning. Well, not morning for you. Good afternoon.
What time is it? Did you say it was 8 o'clock over there in Los Angeles?
8 a.m. That's why I said I just had my porridge, which is oatmeal. Start the day very healthy, but and I'm on my third cup of coffee now.
Oh wow! Yeah. So something. I was reading up on some stuff that like I say, your resume and your CV just goes on and on and on and on. And what I didn't know was that you are the goddaughter of a music legend, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Jackie Wilson was my godfather, and actually, it probably was when I got the show business bug. He was friends with my father and my mom, in particular my dad, and the first concert I ever went to was Jackie Wilson, and he had me on the side of the stage, and then brought me out. And that was the first, my Jody Watley debut was with Jackie Wilson. And I went out there and I was dancing and the people were going wild. And I mean, they loved him. He was just one of the greatest entertainers of all time.
Oh, for sure.
And, and I'll never forget that. But yeah, he was my godfather. And so I think I was definitely destined to follow this path.
So I read something, and maybe you can confirm this, because when I've spoken about this on many occasions, people have kind of either said yes or no, but the wonderful Jackie Wilson, it was through the talents of Jackie Wilson and Reed Petit that the kind of, I suppose, made the way for Motown Records, because he actually financed it on the back end of the success of that, didn't he? Or is that something that...
Yes.
Is that a true fact?
That's true. I've read that myself, and I think that he was also very visionary with the business part of his career. And actually, I think his story would make a great biopic, of when, like Ray Charles, and coming up in that era of music. And he got overlooked a bit, because then, Elvis came out and kind of, took some of his moves and whatnot, and was easier to market. But I mean, he was successful, obviously. But what a great story. And what else stands out with I called him Uncle Jackie. He smelled really good. He was the first person, and I was little. I probably, 5, 6 years old. But just what a great smelling person he was, too.
Oh, wow. Great stuff. So, obviously, I mean, the thing is we love everything that you've done. From your very first sort of solo career, 1987. What a huge song. Did you envisage that Looking for a New Love was going to blow up the way it did, or did it take you by surprise, or did you plan that? What's the story behind that?
Well, I moved to London when I left Shalimar in 1983. And my first deal, actually, after I was a part of Band Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas? And I signed with Phonogram Records and worked with Ann Dudley, J.J. Jack Lizak, Gary Langan, who would later become Art of Noise.
Wow.
And Phonogram really... Chris Briggs was my A&R person, and we were just not seeing eye to eye, because I wanted to do an edgy dance record, and he wanted me to do something more smooth like Shalimar.
Okay.
And I knew from the start to establish my own identity as Jody Watley. And so the Phonogram record, the album was pretty much almost done. They released a promo single, the videos on YouTube. It's Where the Boys Are, and I wrote that with Bruce Woolley, who was in the Buggles.
Okay.
Video Killed the Radio Star.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's really, I've always been connected to the UK. So anyway, it didn't work out with Phonogram. I moved back to America with the same vision for myself.
Sure.
Hired a manager and whatnot. And so the single So I took those ideas and put them into a new album, which I co-wrote with, the writers that I chose for that album.
Yeah.
Andre Simone, Bernard Edwards produced "Don't You Want Me." Bernard I knew from Chic, and Patrick Leonard, and then I forgot his name, but he produced with Andre. Oh God, I can't believe that. But anyway, the company that I signed with, they really got the vision, and so I hoped that it would do well, but it just took off like just beyond my expectations.
I was going to say, I remember that coming out, and of course I jumped to it. I was on it like a carb on it. I was like, Jody Watley, Shalimar, there you go. So obviously saw the video, and I noticed that you were still looking hot, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you. And I did the video for Looking for a New Love in London. It was directed by British director Brian Grant.
Okay.
And so, again, that connection, it has always been there. And my style, I wanted to be how I, wanted it to be, which is, very edgy and fashion forward. I didn't want to do a lot of choreography because, that was already popular with Michael and Janet Jackson.
Sure.
And so, again, my whole thing was to establish my own vibe, like the freestyle girl that, is just cool. And so it was awesome, and coming out of Shalimar, many people said that I would regret it. It'd be a big mistake. And, they're all still, probably very upset that their predictions didn't come true.
Well, for sure.
And I always say, you have to believe in what you do, believe in yourself, no matter what people say. And, and so it just started a whole new life for me.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for.
I mean, the thing is, it was a great album. Some fantastic tunes on there. Looking for a New Love, massive tune. Some Kind of Lover, massive tune. Still a Thrill, one of my favourites. Don't You Want Me. How did the collaboration with George Michael come about? Because Learn to Say No was one of the tracks on that album as well.
Yeah, and George Michael, I love him so much. I still can't believe he's not with us anymore. And I met George when we did Band-Aid together. And, I said, if I get this before Phonogram, actually, when I get a solo deal, would you do a duet with me?
Oh, wow.
And he said, yes, because he loved my voice. And he said, you have such a great tone, Jody. You have, people always say that, like my tone doesn't sound like anyone else. And so when I moved back to America and signed the deal, he was a man of his word. And he picked the song, Learn to Say No.
Wow.
And, we were friends throughout, and people asked, well, why wasn't it a single? And he wanted it to be a single. I did too. But his label at the time, which was CBS, which would later become Sony, they said no. They said no.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Which was a bummer because it would have been a great video and a big hit record. But it was fun to work with him on that and to have him on my debut album.
Oh, wow. Well, listen, we're going to let you go and have your fourth cup of coffee, let you get back to your day, but it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I'm not shaking now. I've calmed down.
Aren't I a calming presence?
Yes, absolutely. Such a pleasure to talk to you, Jody, and we wish you all the very best, and can't wait for you to come to the UK, and listen, when you do come to the UK, I'm going to buy you a coffee. How's that?
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay, well, we're going to take it right back in time, and we're going to go right back in time with the song, I guess, that started your solo career. Thanks very much for talking to us today, Jody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.